I'm going to show you how to make this. It's super simple. It takes 5 minutes. Let's jump right into After Effects and get into it. Okay, so now that we're in After Effects, the first thing you're going to do is make a text layer. So let's just we'll just type out my YouTube name. And this is also my Instagram handle, so you can go subscribe. Well, subscribe here, but also go on Instagram and follow me on Instagram. Let's change the font to something a little bit more good. Times New Roman's not bad, but we're not writing a book, so we'll do Proxima Nova, because that is a very good looking font. Make it bold so we have more stuff to work with. Okay, so now that you have your text layer, the first thing you want to do is you want to add the staticness to it, the actual element that's going to make it look like a static TV or a glitch. So for that, we're going to use Wave Warp. If you're not familiar with what I am doing here, you should watch this video so that you learn how to use the FX console and where to get it at. So make sure you watch the video after this, or watch it right now and come back. Doesn't matter to me. So we're going to add the Wave Warp effect, and immediately you see that it distorts your text just a little bit. But this isn't exactly what we're looking to make the glitch look like. Maybe this is something you want to use for something else, but not for the effect that I'm trying to show you. So first we're going to go into the Wave Warp effects and controls right here, and we're going to change this to smooth noise. So now you can already see, even just by doing that, it looks a little bit more like static. So let's start by bringing the wave height up just a little bit. So we're kind of designing how we want the staticness to look at the moment. So we're going to just kind of design the how much static it's going to give in this moment. We're going to change the direction so it's a little more horizontal as static should be coming from. So you put that to about 180, and that'll make your static all come through horizontally. So then in this case, the wave width now becomes your wave height, and your wave height kind of becomes your width. But that works out better because now you can see this is completely static. So once we kind of decide where we want it, I kind of want it there. So we're going to do a couple keyframes now. So we're going to start, this is kind of the extent of how far I want the static to go width-wise. So I'm going to actually set my keyframes for the wave height and width right there. And then I'm going to press U to twirl down the effects and show my keyframes. And this is going to be probably a half-second animation. So I'm going to pull this to the middle, because that'll be the middle of the animation. And I'm going to go to about 12 frames, and I'm going to bring everything down as low as you can bring it. Some of these, I think these only go to 1. So now you can kind of see if you just go through that, it goes from static to normal, static to normal. And if you really want to get fancy, you can really pull it far away and expand it just a little bit more and get it exactly. Find the frame that you like how it looks, which I kind of like that. So now it'll get static, and it'll clear up. And if that's all you want, great. There's your glitch effect. That looks fantastic for you. But not for me. There's a couple more things that I want to do to it to really make it pop. Get it to that point that it looks as if this got glitched out on a VCR or a VHS tape. If you're not familiar with that is, that was the archaic way of watching Disney movies whenever you were a kid. So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to give this a 2-frame fade in. So I'm going to hit T and set a keyframe on my opacity, go back 2 frames and set this to 0. So now it at least fades in. So like if you were happy with that, then that would be a full animation for you. But we're gonna step up that level just one more. So what we're gonna do is we are going to add Mosaic to this. So we're gonna go to where it's just before it starts to transition away. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it about 100 horizontal blocks and 100 vertical blocks. And right there you can see it did significant things to it. It kind of pixelizes your effect. So if we play it out, the problem is at the end it's still pixelized. So there we're gonna set, actually in the middle of the animation, we're gonna set 2 keyframes, and we're gonna set those to, let's see what looks best. I kind of like how the 100 looks. So we're gonna do 100 there, And then we're going to go all the way to the end of it, and we're going to give this 2,000 or 1,000. Probably 2,000. Yeah, we're going to give it 1,500 actually. That'll look that'll pretty much just make it so it sets itself back to where it was. And it gives us a nice animation out of that. And we can even get even more, and we can set this to 50, which will give us larger blocks for the initial animation. Or we can even go more. We can go all the way down to 10. And that'll work really well with how we color it next. So now you can see with the animation, it's really fading in. Look at that. That actually looks pretty good. It comes out of nowhere, smooths in. So now this is what we're working with here. We need to get this to be a little bit more colorful. So we added Colorama to this layer, because now it gives you the different colors that glitches would normally give you. And that looks pretty good. The problem is as soon as we get to here, it does not look good. So we're going to, again, just fade it out over 3 frames. So we'll do that by blending it with the original. So we'll go over to the last frame, and we'll just pull that up to 100. So that actually looks more glitchy and distorted, and it forms directly into our text, which is nice, which actually makes it look authentic and real. But the problem is I'm still missing the static. I'm still missing that VHS static, because right now it's just a pixelized mess. Duplicate the Motionologist text, put the one you just duplicated under it, and then we're going to take off the Mosaic off of the one that's on the bottom. So that way we still have an element of static, and we need to increase the size so that we still see it a little bit more. Increase the height. Just randomize it. Just make it random. All kinds of random. So now you can see this is what we have. Comes out of nowhere, animates on, and then we're going to do the same thing to animate it off. So let's say you have it on here for, we'll say like 3 seconds. So we're going to hit all the keyframes again that we've already changed, so that nothing changes. And then we'll go forward 12 frames, and we will copy these keyframes and paste them down here. Whoops. I forgot, when you're copying effect keyframes, you have to stick to one effect at a time so that it copies them and doesn't just duplicate the effect on you. And then we'll go another 6 frames. Oops, I didn't move it. I moved that 12 frames instead of 6. We're going to go another 6 frames, and we're going to copy those again. We're going to copy the opacity. We're going to pull this back. So if you copy it, it's going to actually be at 0 here. So what we want to do is we want to reverse these keyframes. So those are reversed now, and it disappears. But we have to add the Colorama back. So the Colorama will actually fade from here in. So we got to do the blend from original. So it'll start here and get colorful by here. So we will take that all the way back down so that it colorizes away. And then it disappears. And if you want it to look a little bit different, you can just change these values. So I could change this value a little bit more and make it less, so that it looks like it's changing more than just kind of coming in one way and going out the exact same way. So instead we'll kind of change up how it looks just a little bit. So we'll actually make these a little bit less uniformed in the scale, like that, and then they'll go out, and we'll just do the same thing. We'll just kind of adjust these just a little bit more at random. So now it goes out a little bit more unique. And then if we want to, while the text is on screen, you can do the exact same thing. Just copy these keyframes here. Go forward 2 frames, and you can adjust your effects to give it a mid glitch. So like as it's on screen, just let it like pop for a second and glitch. So that's what we'll do right here. So we'll just make this. We'll make it go a little bit. We'll just do like a small one. The 2 keyframes, just copy the initial keyframes again, just so it resorts back to where it was before, and then do the same thing with the blending the color. Just copy that, make it go from 0 to 100 and back down to 0 again, so that the color changes, so that it doesn't just flash white. So there you go. You see that little glitch. And if you want it to go a little longer, you can actually just let it fade out longer, which actually looks really nice as it's correcting itself. And then the same thing, you can just copy it, paste it again, so that it happens twice in that amount of time. But I find that you know, in 3 seconds, you don't want to overwhelm an audience by changing it that much. You can see there a little glitch, and then fades out. So that's how you make the glitch effect on text, and you can do this to anything. You can do it to a logo. You can do this to just any title that you can think of. Anything you put into After Effects, you can give this glitch, even to an effect. You can glitch about pretty much anything that's in After Effects. So that's the basic way to do it, and you can get a little bit more creative if you want, because it's After Effects. The world is our oyster in this sense. So be sure to like and subscribe. And if you like this video, make sure that you check out my other videos, because odds are there's something else here that would help you out. So go watch that. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next tutorial.